the same reasons I am. I don't know that there's any persuasion needed. That's obvious. What can I possibly add to it? Second thing is what am I going to say? I have kind of mixed feelings, to be honest with you, about celebrities getting on a national stage, because I think that a lot of people think, well, who are they to be telling me how to live my life? And I learned my lesson the hard way about how seriously whatever I might say can be taken. Years ago, when I started Sundance, I'd never spoken publicly before, and they asked me if I would speak to a group of bankers. And I said, well, what am I going to say? And they said, well, it doesn't matter. I couldn't take that too seriously. I said, well, I got to say something. And so they said, we'll prepare something for you. Don't worry about it. And they got this thing for me to say that was just completely subservient and over the top, thanking them and thanking them. And I thought, well, I don't feel that way. So when I got up there, I was so nervous because I'd never spoken before publicly. And between my nerves and I was looking out and thinking, who are these guys anyway? And I said, when I got up there, it turned out to be kind of an harangue. And I said, what's the matter with you guys? Why is it so hard to get along in this state? And I got quiet. And then it went even worse. I said, don't you guys know you can't take it with you? And so the whole thing turned into a rowdy disaster. And it was really quiet. And everybody's filing out, and I thought, oh my God, I've blown it. You know, that's the end of that. Well, nothing will ever happen for us here in this state. And this guy, one of the head of the banks, on the way out, says, Mr. Redford, I appreciate your comments tonight. And I said, hi. And he said, I have a question for you. And I thought, wow, here it comes. What is it? And he said, did you really make the jump off the cliff in Butch Cassidy? From that time on, I realized I wasn't going to take myself too seriously. But look, I'm here. I made some notes here today when I was on my way over, because it is really important. First of all, in terms of disclosure, one of the reasons I'm here is my vested interest in Colorado. I went to school here in the 50s. I worked in Estes Park when I was 15 in the horse stables there. I fell in love with the state at a very early age and wanted to climb here and wanted to be in the mountains of Colorado, and so I came here in the 50s. My children came years later. They all graduated from here. I've come here to raise money for what I thought were really substantial good people that would do something for the state, going all the way back to 1974. And I was filming 3 Days of the Condor in New York. There was a ticket out here that I thought was just fabulous. It was Tim Worth, and it was Gary Hart, and it was Sam Brown, and it was Pat Schroeder, and Governor Lamb. So I came out here to help raise money for them, and I thought that was one of the great moments in our national history, let alone Colorado history. And since Colorado was gaining a reputation, particularly afterwards, for moving away from progressive thinking and action more towards a conservative base, that power started to evaporate. And subsequently, I came years after for Gary Hart, for Governor Strickland, hopefully Governor Strickland, Romer, and others. Now, I'm here because I see such an amazing chance for Colorado. I see once we saw this phenomenal thing that happened in 2004, when the State House made a shift back in a direction that looked like Colorado could resume a position of leadership nationally. My God, it's got the resources, it's got the power, it's got the beauty, it's got the people. And so that to me was a sign, and now here we have a chance to complete it. You have Salazar, who's great, you have a great governor, and now here's a chance to have two others to fill the bill. You have Mark Udall, and my relationship with Mark and his family goes way, way back, and it goes back to his dad and his uncle and the whole family. I've supported Mark since he got into politics, and I will support him as long as he stays in. I know who Mark is. I know what we need right now. What we need is to get rid of this mean-spirited, deceitful, distracted stuff. We need somebody who not only is intelligent, but is compassionate and has a moral fiber that is totally missing right now. And the fact that he can listen, that he can work both sides of the aisle, we never have needed more bipartisanship than we do now. And when we think about what the partisanship, the extreme partisanship, has done to this country and its values,